Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to try and draw a chair using the Paintology app. And first of all we'll try and draw the shape of the chair. It's a good idea to keep practicing the shape of the chair until you sort of get it near there. It doesn't have to be exact, but just reasonably close to the chair. I mean, if you didn't get this shape correct, then no matter how you try and improve the drawing, it would look a little odd. So it's always a good idea to practice the shape. And here I'm using the shade tool of the Paintology app to outline the chair. So as you can see here, there's some of the legs were off. So I'm going to try again and attempt another try to get the shape more accurate. Notice I'm not concerned with the details yet. I just want to get the shape and form of the chair. So this looks a little better, even though the slant of the back is slightly off. So we can do the actual shape again, redo the shape, and then attempt to do the shading, which will make the chair look a little 3D. So we start off with the seat, outline the seat. Back as well, again focusing just on the shape. Having repeated the shape drawing, I should in theory should get a better shape of the chair. So just simply outlining the chair with the shade tool. So you can see when you look at the chair, it has the darker bands of color and the lighter bands of color, and this is where observation of the tones on the chair really matter. So what we're going to do is now go towards shading, and the way we're going to do the shading is that we have two options open to us to create the tonal balance of that chair, and that is to select the gray color on the left on the palette, or select the or just keep rubbing the same area several times to get darker tone. So we have that option as well. But you'll notice that just prior to this I was using the white as a way of erasing the seat, because the seat in fact was a little lower than I expected, so I erased that seat and then lifted it up like so. So again, going back to the white, I'm removing some of the that part of the leg that holds the legs together, because I think I can position it higher as well. So now I'm more defining the chair more so, adding the areas to it and the shape of the back, as you can see, but not really doing anything in detail or accurately, just defining it more to give it more definition, so then I can start working on the details, little details of it. So basically, if you see the actual chair, it's actually of a certain width, the legs, the back, and those are the areas that I'm trying to fill in right now. I'm not worried about the tonal range right now. I'm just trying to get now a better definition of the chair in terms of its width, size, the pieces that make up the larger areas, the back panels here. So I'm going for a lighter tone. Here now I'm using the grey tone to set the tonal range of this chair. And I may go over it again if I don't get it right, so you have that option there. Unlike traditional methods, it's harder to get a lighter color over a dark pencil mark. So you really have to get it right the first time. And then if you overwork it, you can actually ruin the paper underneath. So that's one of the great advantages of doing digitally. You have the option to revert back and make changes and have a lot of versatility in your fingertips to get a better control, better at your drawings. So I feel that if you start with tablet drawing, you probably increase your knowledge base much more faster than traditional. So as you can see, I'm altering the size of the shade to actually pick out some of the finer details, and then I would move to a larger size to actually to fill a bigger space. So I don't want to see too many textures on the face of that big flat chair, as it were. So here again, I went for the white and trying to white out the edges of the chair to give it more better definition, as you can see. So I'm going through it quite rapidly, but you can take your time. And it's a drawing that I'm not sure what I would be expecting. That's the beauty of drawing. You don't know what the results are, but you just keep doing what your eye sees. So your eyes are, I'm always comparing the shades, the tone, and even some of the textures on that chair, and then trying to match it to the drawing that I'm doing. So here I notice there's there are some more whites, a lighter value to some of the areas in the chair which I'm trying to fill in. Again, going for a darker color, reducing the darker color again to get to get the darker tones behind those slats there. So as you keep doing this, I wouldn't worry about always checking for your progress. What I find is, as I keep doing it, I get better and better at making the drawing a more 3D, and it just seems natural that because what I'm doing is I'm always applying a little bit of improvement to the drawing by paying attention now to the details, the tone value, the shades, the edges, the actual light values, everything which actually makes it an object 3D like. So 3D images like a face, for example, was not flat. It would be it would be lots of shades of color, lots of shades of tonal balance. So you can see that as I'm doing it, there's always adding some form of improvement to the chair. And you could work this as long as you want and get almost a photographic, realistic quality to your drawing, but that's entirely up to you how much time you want to spend. But usually I don't spend that much time on a drawing, and I work fairly fast. So I'm just defining those areas of dark and light. So now I'm not really, at the same time I'm also actually defining the outline more while I'm working out the values for the chair. When I say value, I mean the actual gray tones. So what you could do in one of your learning tutorials is to take a chair and turn it into black and white. Use of editing tool and turn it into black and white. It'll be easier for you to actually see the values of the chair. But this one is a one-off color, so it's relatively easy to see which have dark tones and which have lighter tones. So what I was explaining earlier was that as you continue to draw, you have to understand your ability to sense details gets better and better because you're always constantly looking at that chair and comparing it to your drawing, and you'll find that instinctively your eyes will go to an area of the chair which tells you that this requires this value or this value is not quite right. So you're always improving. So it's not really a question of looking at the final result and saying, oh no, that drawing was rubbish. It's actually a question of persistence and carrying on until you get it right. And that's one of the big advantage of doing digital tablet drawing such as this, is that you can go back and with drawing on a pencil and paper, it's not easy to go back. Okay, you're rubbing off areas and then trying again, rubbing off areas. That's okay, but this is so much easier for me, in my opinion, to do. So I have also worked with traditional methods as well, but I find this is extremely fast and allows me to draw rapidly and very quickly. You can see here that I'm simply playing with the tone values and just going over the drawing to achieve more or less the same tonal balance as what I see on the actual picture. So again, by observing, creating the tones, the another important tip is to actually judge a drawing not before you've started, but as you continuously go through the drawing. Because what happens is that as you apply the drawing or the pigment, if you were doing it traditionally, you immediately see the contrasting values that you need in other areas of the drawing to be able to provide a balanced drawing. Yeah, so as you can see, the 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 the, the application of the shading tool with the gray tones that I put down is automatically showing me the areas where it needs to be dark and light. You couldn't necessarily do that on your first attempt because the shading tool by itself has a tonal range, and you need to appreciate that by just putting it down in the first place. It may sound complicated, but as you do it, it will you'll understand it more and appreciate it more. So we could have worked on this with the color, so it would have been just as simpler to have picked an oak color, which the chair is, and worked on that, and then continuously changed the tonal value of that color to achieve the 3D look. So now, as you can see, I'm seeing lighter tones on the actual chair, some areas of the chair which I'm changing. And you find as you keep doing it, you're getting closer to the value. So effectively, the best drawings are the ones that tend to get close to the tonal range of the original drawing. And that's been shown equally important in painting as well. You're mixing colors and trying to achieve the same tone, value, and the pigment, and you find some of the great artists spend a tremendous amount of time trying to get that right. So this is really in essence what I'm doing here as well. Another thing about digital drawing is that it allows you other parameters not necessarily found in paper, pen, and even painting, which what I consider is important is the luminosity that you achieve with digital painting. Gives you another range to work with, and you can produce some pretty stunning images just by understanding and appreciating that. I would encourage you to look at some of my other videos that I have done on using Paintology, and obviously those are a lot more detailed and a lot more complex, and I wouldn't recommend someone jumping into that until they have a good grasp of the basic skills here. But you will find that if you've got the knack for it and the patience and persistence, that you can rapidly develop your skill sets and create stunning pieces of artwork that really brings out digital painting to its fullest. And like all, unfortunately, like all other people, I'm going to say that tools are secondary. What matters is your technique, skills, and experience that you've developed over time. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial, and I hope to bring some more tutorials to help you improve your drawing. So if you like this video, please subscribe at the link below, and I'm sure to bring you more tutorials that will help you get into this digital world. And it's not as bad as people make it out. It's actually quite fun. And see you again soon. Thank you for watching. Bye.